Creating forms from motion is one of the most exciting ways to work in clay. Throughout the ages, man has been fascinated by the potter's wheel. Motion is the key to forming on the wheel, and movement makes the wheel a versatile tool. The beauty of a perfect spiral cut is easily demonstrated by passing a nylon string through the center of a revolving mass of moist clay. When the two halves are separated, other ideas for forms are suggested. A strange spiral-shaped creature may emerge complete with eyes, ears, and a mouth that's ready to snap. While most of the class is learning to throw pottery on the wheel, these students are busy preparing pinch bowls, which they will finish later on the wheel. From pinch bowls to the potter's wheel can be a short step once the forms are dried leather hard. Trimming foot rims on hand-formed pots of all shapes and sizes is easy on the potter's wheel with a wire loop tool. The inverted hand-formed bowls look as complete as did the ancient raku pots of Korea or China with their perfectly turned foot rims. The instructor demonstrates the basic techniques for throwing clay on the potter's wheel. First, the clay is stuck to the wheel head. Then the clay ball is mastered and centered. A practical method which shows where your hand should be placed and the pressure applied is an old standby, the dial of a clock. This system is called throwing by the clock. The potter stands at 6 o'clock. Since the wheel turns counterclockwise, it moves away from the 4 o'clock position. The right hand is held as a brace at 4 o'clock, while the left middle fingers open the clay at 0, or the center of the wheel. The instructor evaluates hand positions, wheel speeds, slow or fast, and the student's standing positions. When your hands are correctly placed, the pressure on the clay is felt easily, and you can experience the control of hands, clay, and motion. After sticking the clay on the wheel, practice centering. The wheel is set at the fast speed, and the hands press down and in at 7 and 4 o'clock. The clay must be perfectly centered on the wheel before it can be opened properly. When the clay is centered, it is ready for opening. Pushing the left thumb into the centered ball with the fingers of the right hand is an easy way to open a form for raising. After choking the form in, the instructor demonstrates raising using his right knuckle at the 4 o'clock position. And then choking the clay in with both hands to ready the form before raising it higher. Press your right forefinger in at 4 o'clock outside the form, keeping your left middle finger against the inside of the clay as you raise the form. The feel of the clay becomes alive, transforming the ball of clay into the form of a cylinder. When the feel of the clay moving up is experienced, the relationship of steady pressure at the 4 o'clock position makes the wheel fun as well as productive. Excess clay is removed with a rib as the wheel turns to save time in finishing. The trimming of a foot rim is up to you. Dry hands are used to lift the separated pot. A flattened and centered ball of clay may be opened into a plate with the curved wooden rib tool. The rib is pressed from the center out to 4 o'clock, spreading and flattening the clay into a plate form. When the rim is finished, a string pull cuts the plate from the wheel. Metal lifters are used to carry the plate off. Wetting the lifters prevents sticking. Later, when the plate dries leather hard, a foot rim may be turned by placing the plate upside down on the wheel. Bowls and other useful forms can be made from moist, solid masses of clay by hewing, which is like lathe turning. A wire loop tool made from a coat hanger is used to dig out the clay. Thickness is controlled by cutting from the outside at 4 o'clock to make the rounded form. This is an easy method of producing handsome bowls and platters. The wheel can be used to decorate, too. Liquid underglaze is added. And a sgraffito design is achieved with a small stick. No throwing technique is needed to produce these attractive shapes. A string pull is used to cut the clay slab to the desired thickness, using sticks for a guide. Just as slab dishes can be made by propping up the edges, they can also be made on the wheel. Motion makes trimming easy, fast, and accurate. The form is finished by turning up a rim and decorating with liquid underglaze. The moist clay can be textured by a variety of experimental methods. A cylinder fashioned in motion may be left plain or enriched with a surface decoration of color and texture. The potter's wheel as a tool opens up a new world of creative imagination by lending motion to a plastic medium. Glaze is a glass fused to clay. When fired to the proper temperature, glaze melts, adding beauty and color while rendering forms waterproof. Glazes may be purchased in dry or liquefied form, or you may wish to experiment, like this student, and formulate some of your own. He mixes a formula and adds water to prepare it for use. Straining removes lumps, making it easier to apply. Glazes are mixed with water for practical applications. Glazes may be applied easily by brushing. The piece is dampened to remove dust and slow absorption of the glaze by the porous bisque ware. Brushing is more practical for small pieces. All the glaze can be utilized, even in small amounts. Glazing the back first makes handling easier. A stilt supports the piece while drying. The upper surface is glazed by applying a loaded brush in rapid strokes to flow the glaze and avoid brush strokes showing after firing. After the first coat dries, a second coat is applied. 2 coats on the underside is usually sufficient. When the bottom is covered, a stilt protects the piece during firing. Stilt marks left from the firing are unavoidable. An extra coating on the upper surface will cause a richer effect. Pieces too large for brushing are easily glazed with a large sponge